Support American-made tariff-free clothing with American Giant with American Giant. They aren't affected by tariffs because their clothing products never left the U.S. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com.
The following episode may contain inappropriate material. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Matt. Hold on. My spirit advisors are telling me that we may not make it to the end of this podcast.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We may not be able to give a rating for this episode. I will let you know. And there's a line in this episode that's very inappropriate. You can go back and listen to the Three Geeks episode that we did on Sunday to hear what that line was, because I'm definitely going to talk about it. But we're here, Mattalk, it's Jason and John, ready to discuss The Psychic. And I just want to get this out. I can't hold on to it for very long. But the whole opening sequence of like her like floating through like weird background, it is the worst 80s thing that ever was invented. And I thought Matlock was above this.
Okay. I'm going to have a problem with this episode because I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, and I know people are probably going to get mad at my opinion, but I just kind of don't believe in this whole psychic mumbo jumbo. I'm sorry. I just don't. So
how dare we've interviewed psychics before, John.
Yeah. And how did that go?
It went fantastic.
No, it did not. Stop lying. Stop lying.
Granted, one of the episodes I will never air because it's not appropriate, and I'm saying that. And then the other one, yeah. But anyway, guys, we're here to talk about The Psychic, and I am very excited. And I think the actress who plays The Psychic is one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen in my entire life. And it's a shame she is only in this in front of the 13th floor.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, then, you know what? Let's not delay. Let's jump on into it, shall we? And start talking about our episode. So let's get to our opening statements. Well, as you mentioned, The Psychic is the name of our episode. And it originally aired, Jason, March 7th, 1989. And you mentioned that we have some guest stars. And in fact, I would like to, first off, mention that we are going to have a three-peat of an actress on an episode of Matlock. And of course, I'm talking about Carolyn Seymour, who played the role of Iris Vogel. You may remember her from season 2, when she played Dr. Vanessa Sedgwick in The Genius. Remember that one, Jason, where it's Ben's nephew, that's the computer geek, and they have the doors that would open and close. So she was the wife to Dr. Sedgwick, but she was also Christina Ward on The Affair, which was season 1. And this one, in the history of our podcast, I think holds a very special place in my heart, because this is where you literally went bonkers, because it's the episode where the maid was walking around with the murder weapon in her hand all night long, and it was the cheating husband that got murdered, and you about flipped your wig about this whole entire sequence of events.
Don't tell the people I wear a wig. It's all natural.
I was using an old-timey saying. Flip your wig. I think it's very popular in the 1930s.
Maybe she was also in the classic film Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
How was that? I never watched that.
Oh, it was awful.
Was it? Okay.
Not as good as the original. And she was in Quantum Leap.
Yeah. Well, you talked about her. Let's talk about Camilla Moore. She will be playing the role of Jennifer Holtz. As you mentioned, she was also known for playing the role of Tina in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Anne Hayward on General Hospital, and one that I had to write down, me being the wrestling nerd that I am. She was also in a movie called Dead Tides, featuring Rowdy Roddy Piper and Tawny Katane. What a duo that is.
Yeah, she had not too bad of a lineup of stuff, and then she just stopped.
fill us in, because you are the horror fan extraordinaire on this podcast. How was Friday the 13th, the final chapter?
I like Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Can you tell me numerically which one that is?
That is 4, and it was not the final chapter. Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, because, there was a million others afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that franchise jump the shark, in your opinion?
Oh, it hasn't yet, John. I'm just kidding. Probably 7 when they bring in a psychic. Yeah, they bring in a psychic. They have a psychic villain in 7. 8, Jason goes to Manhattan. 9, he goes to hell. 10, he goes to space. So somewhere in those 4 films, I think, is when it really jumped the shark.
It's too bad when he was up in space, he didn't run into Ludacris up there driving his car around in space.
Did you finally watch that?
No, I'm not watching that Fast and the Furious movie. No, absolutely not.
John, you need to have more fun in your life.
Oh, I had fun. Last night, I introduced my buddies into Miami Connection. And if anybody out there wants to see a completely bonkers 80s movie, it's
You'll watch
Miami
that,
Connection.
But you won't watch Fast 9 or Furious 9 or whatever the heck it's called. F9.
No, I will watch terrible 80s action flicks, but I will not watch Fast and Furious. Look, I'm not a big Vin Diesel fan. I can't stand Michelle Rodriguez. I think she's a terrible actress.
I don't like either of them either, but the movies are like a delight.
Well, okay, we'll just agree to disagree that I'm just not a family. That's what it's all about, I hear. All right, let's move on to our next guest star. It's Michael Ensign. He will be playing the role of Spalding Kane. You may know him, Jason, as Judge Paul Resnick on Boston Legal, Frank McIntyre on Falcon Crest, and Donald T. Blanchard on Beyond Belief. Fact or fiction. So do you remember this guy from Boston Legal?
What was his name again?
Michael Ensign.
No, not really.
Okay. I thought that Spalding Kane was the worst name they could have given a character. Like, that sounds like such a pompous jerk. And bad too. Just sounds like a bad soap opera name.
Nice. He was in Son of the Beach.
Yes. Oh man, I forgot about that. Was that a Fox show? That was a Fox show, wasn't it?
FX. I think it was one of the first FX shows. He was also in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, which is a favorite of mine.
Son of the Beach. Did that have Ed O'Neill in it?
He might have been in an episode or 2.
Okay, he wasn't the star?
No.
Who was the star of Son of the Beach?
I know it was produced by Stern, and it was a spoof of Baywatch. BJ Cummings, Jamie Bergman. I've never seen the show.
I watched an episode or 2, and I just didn't. I mean, I had nothing against it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I was like, indifferent.
Yeah.
Let's move on to another guest star, Christian Clemenson as Cyril Henning. Now, you may know him for his other roles, such as Martin DeYoung on Turn, Washington Spies. He played Dr. Tom Lohman on CSI Miami. Jerry Epson in Boston Legal.
Yeah, I know him.
You know him.
I love seeing this guy.
Abel Kuntz on Veronica Mars, and a whole host of others. He's probably the most accomplished of all of our guest stars, with the exception of our next one. And I'll talk, though, he has a little asterisk next to his name. But
he was on The Practice, Ally McBeal, and Boston Legal, which all take place in the same world technically, but he did not play the same characters on Ally McBeal and Practice.
Well, let's talk about our final guest star, which has a little asterisk next to him. Alex Daniels, who will be playing the role of Dick Blake. This dude has ungodly amount of credits, not as an actor, but as a stunt coordinator.
Nice.
Bosch, Veronica Mars, Tosh.0. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. I was blown away by the fact that Alex Daniels is probably better known for his stunts than his acting.
What stunts would he have to do on Tosh.0?
Oh, I imagine he probably since he's a coordinator, he probably was like, okay, if you're going to jump off this, trampoline and try to slam dunk a basketball, you got to do this, so you don't get hurt. I'm sure that he, I don't think he was a stunt man. I think he's the stunt coordinator that coordinates the different stunts,
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to drive this car, you're going to hit the side ramp, it's going to go up on 2 wheels, make sure you don't counter steer, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah.
but that stuff that happens, that's videos found on YouTube.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know why Tosh.0 would have a stunt coordinator either. I'm with you, but I don't understand.
He was in some good shows too. I mean, he only had small bit parts and stuff, but he's consistently done like guest starring roles on TV, at least one a year. And he was in the wonderful Batman and Robin and Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
So Alex Daniels joining the cast as the man who has a name that we all snickered at.
It's because they kept using lines that they knew they were using.
Yes. They knew it. Absolutely. I guarantee you that Andy Griffith is like, let's change that to everyone loves in his name. All right. Then Jason, I have a question for you. Are you ready to share an opinion? Your opinion. And only your opinion, so help you.
I do. And it's time to testify!
Testify! That was a short one.
It was a short one.
Yeah. People, let us know if you like the short one or the long extended one, you know?
Yeah,
and
well, John woke me up at 7 o'clock in the morning to do this Mattalk episode, so it's still early.
Well, there's a big backstory to why we're doing this so early, but I digress. Jason, where can folks let us know if they want to tell us whether they like the short version, the long version of Testify, or if they have any questions for that matter, how can they get in touch with us?
At benmattalk@gmail.com. Email me. Say hi.
There you go. And you can also find us on Facebook at Mattalk Podcast and on Twitter, Mattalk_podcast. And let's get on into it, shall we? The plot.
First, we failed the audience because we didn't take the time to remember Matlock guest star Kevin Conroy, who recently passed away. And, you know, we're big fans of him from Batman the Animated Series. But as you know, because we've done the episode already, Kevin Conroy was a guest on Matlock. And that man leaves behind a legacy. I just wanted to take a second and say rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. Man, he was young, too. He was, what, 61?
66. We were supposed to see him next month at GalaxyCon.
That's right. He was coming to GalaxyCon. Yeah. He was 66, you said?
Mm.
I thought he was younger than that.
No, that's still young.
No. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Absolutely. Without a doubt. All right. Let's talk about the plot of this episode. A psychic is accused of a murder that she foresaw in her visions.
I don't know. If I was a psychic and I was foreseeing murders, I don't know if I'd go around telling everybody about it, because if the murder does come true, they're going to assume you did it. It's not as bad as picking up the murder weapon and running around the house and like showering with it, but I think it's up there.
You know what? I wonder if she foresaw how bad she would look in all the shoulder pads that she was wearing in every single outfit. That's right. This episode's jammed full of shoulder pads all around, ladies and gentlemen.
Do not talk bad about her. She looked great in those shoulder pads. I am in love with Mom.
You are in love with Camilla Moore?
Yeah. I'm going to email her later. See if she wants to get a cup of coffee.
She's British, so I believe it would be a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Opening scene. This is the weirdest opening scene I have ever seen on an episode of Matlock so far. There's weird crystals and like a scepter and a woman meditating and trippy cloud effects and a big buff dude and then a dude that gets stabbed by a sword or some type of crystals we found out later. A woman that's shocked and more clouds. Weird trippy music.
This looked like a sequence out of the Star Wars Holiday Special. Like, it was awful. Like when Chewbacca's dad puts on that head mask for the virtual reality simulation, this is what that reminded me of. And I hate it. They do it a lot in 80s stuff when they're symbolizing either dreams or visions, as we saw in this. And I hate the background. You can do better.
Well, we cut to a scene that takes place in Ben's office where Ben is playing a song on his ukulele or his mandolin or whatever that instrument is.
Did they just go into season 3 and was like, we need more music?
Well, less Tyler, more music. I guess that equation works.
Yeah, Tyler hasn't been on in a minute, has he?
No. This is, again, an episode with no Tyler. Zero Tyler.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, at this point, I think it's beyond spoiler. So Ace is in the office, and he wants a will made. He wants everything divided up. What records go to what niece, what records go to what relative, etc., etc. And Ben, he tries to tell him, hey, man, you can do it cheaper if you just list it yourself. But eventually, Ben caves and is like, just get me a list and I'll make sure it's legal. And then all of a sudden, as Ace is leaving, Jennifer Holtz barges in and mistakes Ace for Ben. I love this line, and it's so fitting that it comes from Ace. Hey, she's a cute chick, but 2 sandwiches short of a picnic. What do you think about Ace hitting on your girl?
It's within character.
Yeah,
I don't think he realizes like his age.
No, because
which is ironic because he's in there making a will.
Yes, because he's clearly old enough to be this character's grandfather.
Yeah.
Anywho,
which is fine. I mean, game recognized game. Do your thing. I'm just saying.
So Jennifer claims that she had a vision of the murder, and so Ben is very skeptical. And she wants Ben to take the case. But the whole time she's talking to Ace while Ben is standing at his desk. And so Ben has to interrupt and explain, I'm Mr. Mattalk. This is Ace Calhoun. Jennifer claims that Ace is going to make more money, that he's already made plenty of money. He's going to make more money. Would you believe that if somebody told you that?
If I'd already done the Andy Griffith show and I was now doing Mattalk, I'd be like, all right, another show's coming my way.
All right. We cut to a swanky hotel where we meet the man with the worst name ever, Spalding Kane. And Jennifer is late to a radio spot. And Kane is mad at getting second billing on this psychic convention. Kane is going to argue about some predictions that his mumbo-jumbo guiding light told him, and it conflicts with what Jennifer says, and Cyril and him get into an argument. And all of a sudden, Jennifer arrives, and she refuses to do the interviews because poor Marie is there who needs her console. And of course, Dick shows up as well, and he gives a kiss to Jennifer, and that sets poor Marie off. And at this point, I felt it was like, if you weren't paying attention to this episode, you wouldn't really understand what the heck was going on with Marie. Was I the only one that felt that way?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because it just seemed like, why is she running off? And, she must be like, somehow have a connection to Dick Blake. I almost said it. I almost ended up doing a joke that the writers of the show just wrote into this. Anyways, so we go to a scene at Ray Templin's bar, and Julie and Ben are poking fun at Jennifer. And Ace shows up saying that Jennifer was right because he just made a killing on some stocks that he sold. And I like how he just decides to plop down and just interrupt their date.
How do you know they were there? Does he have a tracker on Ben?
No, he explains. He called the office and the answering service said, oh, Ben went out to dinner at Templin's bar.
Okay, Ace is a man with some kahunas. Like, you find out your buddy's out with a girl, and what are you going to do? You're going to literally stalk him to the restaurant just to tell him that you made money on the stocks.
Well, and here's the other thing, too.
Ben's got to have a pager, right?
That's where I was going with. This is the era where I think you would have answering machines where you wouldn't need an answering service anymore. You know what I mean? I think that's like mid-'80s. By now, you got an answering machine. Granted, they cost $78 probably. They weren't cheap like, growing up as a kid. They were cheap.
$78 sounds cheap in 2022.
Really? For an answering machine?
Well, I mean, just in general.
Yeah. Well, Jennifer goes to Dick Blake's room and knocks. There's no answer, so she sees another door open, so she walks down to another room and sees Dick lying dead on the floor, just like in Jennifer's vision. And she rushes out before the security guard can stop her. And then I wrote down, did she run the whole entire way to Ben's house? I mean, who is she, Barry Allen?
Maybe she's in shape, man. Not everybody's knees crack when they try to run like mine.
I guess.
I tried to run the other day, and holy crap. Like, I got halfway to where I needed to go running, and then all of a sudden it felt like my knees just gave out on me because the rest of the run was not smooth.
Ben is asleep, and he does not like being woken up. And he said, and I quote, "You ran from the scene of the crime." And I was like, Jason is going to agree with Ben tenfold on this one.
I'm not so mad about her leaving the crime scene as I would be if she was like dancing with the murder weapon. Or the beginning introduction. The introduction took all of my frustration, so I didn't have any for her.
Okay. So we cut to police headquarters. All right. And so Jennifer shares her X-Men backstory, as I mentioned. I was a child. I always had powers, and I just didn't know how to funnel them. And then I met Charles Xavier, and he took me to his Institute for Talented and Gifted Youth. Anyways.
And then I left and joined Magneto, and we destroyed the world together.
This is something that she says that I just kind of was like, what? She says in her backstory that she went to college to get her real estate license. I have a cousin that got her real estate license. She did not have to go to college for it. I feel like the writers have sold us a bill of goods that is not accurate. I don't think you have to go to college to get a real estate license. Am I wrong on that? I think you just take classes at a community college or wherever, and then you too can pass the test and you can be a real estate agent.
I do not know. Real estate is above my pay grade.
It turns out that Jennifer had been giving Dick private readings, and that's why she had went to the crystal room and found him dead.
Nobody wants a dead Dick.
I knew it because you were standing there stifling a laugh. Anyways, Spalding Kane is very upset. He's in some room at the back of the psychics convention, and he wants his money. And Michelle and Ben arrive, and Iris is so upset she storms out. And we find out that Jennifer and Dick Blake were having an affair because Cyril, man, oh man, does that dude blab everything. Talks about the Jennifer's readings and her stats, the affair that Dick Blake was having with her. Marie and Dick Blake were lovers before this. He was taking bribes to put people into better spots on the vendor floor, which sounds familiar because that's how we ended up getting the panels at Monroe Pop Fest. No, I'm kidding. There was no bribes. None.
That John knows of.
What? Oh, great. There's going to be an investigation. Monroe Pop Fest gate. That's how we get into all of these comic book conventions and pop culture conventions, ladies and gentlemen. We bribe our way in. I bake a bunch of snickerdoodle cookies, and that's how we get in. All right, Michelle and Ben interview Marie, but they smell smoke in Marie's room. They enter the room because there just happens to be a housekeeping person there, and Marie is dead. Well, when we come back from commercial break, we find out she's not dead. All right, near dead, as they would say on The Princess Bride. Almost dead. Marie attempted to kill herself because the crystal wand that she made is the murder weapon, and that Marie loves Mr. Blake despite his lies and fraud and deception and cheating and everything. Marie freaks out because, quote, she hates meditating on negative visions, end quote. And Marie claims that Jen would never betray her because they are best friends. All right, Jason, let's take a pause for a minute. What do you think so far of the episode?
That's okay.
You're still upset about the opening scene, but everything else so far has been
fine.
Kosher?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I have no idea who the killer is.
You know what? I didn't either till maybe the last couple minutes before the reveal. Yeah, because I was like, Jennifer shows up at Ben's house and says the spirits have predicted that she is innocent. Ace arrives, and Jennifer stammers with her next vision and says that Ace will not see the end of this court case.
He will not see a verdict in this court case.
Oh, excuse me. He will not see a verdict. That's right, because that's very important, ladies and gentlemen. The actual vernacular is very important. So Ace thinks, of course, he's going to die soon. And he's all freaked out. Actually, I think he would have been more freaked out than the way that Don Knotts actually played it, to be honest with you, right?
Kind of. Don Knotts became a stalker of them. Like, he was always there after that moment.
He's like Michael Myers.
He's like, if I'm going to die, you guys are going down with me.
Michelle finds out a bunch of stuff about Mr. Blake. And I love this line from Ben. Oh, he has many other talents. Dick Blake was supposedly seeing somebody else in another room. What do you know? It's Iris. So Michelle interviews Iris, but basically doesn't get, anywhere with her because she's claiming that they were doing convention stuff. Ace is at the hotel, Jason, as you predicted.
Yeah, he's always there.
He's always there. Ben fools him into thinking that his hair is growing back because that was one of the things that Jennifer had said, that his hair was going to grow back. But again, I felt like at this point, like there was a little bit of overacting on Don Knotts' part, or not enough acting, I should say, for Don Knotts' part.
Which is it, John? Is he overacting or underacting?
He's underacting this. Sorry, my bad. I misspoke. My chakra is out of alignment this morning. That's why I'm not as witty as I normally would be.
He has his hair nice and combed, though, folks.
My hair's nice and combed?
Yeah.
All right. Truth be told, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in a bathrobe, still in my pajamas from my slumber. Because I was like, I'm not going to change clothes. I don't care. No one's going to see me.
I recently came to the conclusion that I want to be a robe person. I've never been a robe person. I kind of want to be a robe person. Now that I work from home, I can just work from home in a robe. It'd be great.
Yeah. And man, this is an Old Navy flannel bathrobe. I like it. It's probably the best robe that I've ever had. And I've had a couple. Anyways, enough about my wardrobe. Let's get back to the episode. Ben and Michelle go to Mr. Blake's room, and they find that he has a large sum of money in his bag. So, we go to the courtroom. I think this is our first courtroom scene, if I recall. And Julie calls Ben to the stand. Look at that. What spine Julie March has. Ben objects, but then she said, well, I'll just call Ace Calhoun. So Ben decides to go up there. And I got to be honest, I thought this was the best scene of the entire episode. I thought this was very well done. Again, the back and forth between Julie and Ben is chef's kiss. Always good stuff. What'd you think, Jason?
I think that it would have helped Julie's case better if she had called Ace. I think if I was the prosecutor, I would have called Ace because he's more of a loose cannon. He's liable to say something that somebody could take the wrong way. I would have called Ace.
Well, my note that I jotted down is Ben needs to shut his mouth when he's around Julie, especially if it's a big case. I know that they can't do that in order to make the comedy work, but man, oh man, I'm like, just shut up, Ben. Stop telling her everything.
He wasn't defending her at the time, and he didn't believe her.
Well, true. Iris is on the stand, and she purports that Mr. Blake is a womanizer, and he likes ladies.
They usually are.
Yeah, I mean, this has probably been, the 12th villain that we've seen that's been a womanizer?
Started with the judge.
I'll tell you that. I mean, I'd love to do a comparison between, 3 random shows and Mattalk and see how many times the villain is a womanizer.
I almost want to redo the Judge episode with some people from the fan base because a lot of people hold the Judge as one of their favorite episodes, and I just don't get it.
Yeah. You know what? We'll put that on the docket for 2023, yo.
Mattalk reacting to episodes of Mattalk reacting to episodes of Mattalk.
That's very meta. I think you lost me on that one. Hold on. Let me go get my crystals. Let me go see. Maybe we'll see if we can make that happen.
He is pulling out crystals, folks. He actually has them.
That joke was so funny, your dog laughed. Did you see that?
She snored, but...
All right, Ace is concerned about his death, and again, he goes to Ben, but Ben is no help to him. Not at all. Security lets Ben and Michelle into the crystal room, and they reenact the killing, and Ben finds a clue. And I'll be honest, I had to rewind this because I'm like, I don't understand. What did he lifted up a carpet, and I'm like, what? What the hell is he doing?
I don't know.
So Marie is on the stand. Marie claims that Jen tells her everything and that Jennifer told Marie about the murder vision and Marie had told somebody else about the murder vision. And then it becomes evident that Marie probably had nothing to do with the murder. And the next person on the stand is Cyril Henning. He was told about the murder vision. And Cyril and Iris, they were also involved in a relationship that had broken up recently. And so Ben reveals what that clue is that he found in the crystal room. Dick Blake had been killed somewhere else, and the body hadn't been moved. Dick was killed in Cyril's room. Cyril stabbed Dick, drugged the body in a rug across the hall. And how did Ben know this? Because each rug has the hotel room number on the back side of it. And Cyril's doesn't match up to the crystal room. And so Cyril finally admits to everything. The case is dismissed. And because there is no actual verdict, Ace is feeling a lot more relieved that he is not going to die.
How did the police miss that number?
I don't know. And here's the other thing. You would think, I don't care how thick that rug is. If you're dragging a stabbed body from one side of the hall to the other, there's going to be a blood trail.
He has really good cleaning skills.
He must be calling that the cleaning lady from Fox.
Maybe. She's good.
I don't know. I've never watched that show, to be honest.
I love that show.
Is it good?
It's good. I mean, it's a CBS show, but it's good. It's a little bit more serialized than most CBS shows. Wait, it's not Fox? CBS. It's Fox. Yeah.
It's Fox. Yeah. It's Fox Monday night.
That's why it's not. That's why it's more serialized. It's because it's Fox.
Of course. All right. Well, Jason, you have any other notes you want to talk about?
No, not really.
All right, then let's get to our closing statements. This is the part of the
podcast where John and I rate the show on a gavel system. 1 gavel means it sucked. 5 gavels means it's awesome. John, what do you rate this show on our gavel system?
You're a cheeky bastard. You know that, because I thought I was going to get away with it and get to do my part like a couple of times in a row. But man, you've been hiding in the weeds waiting for me.
I was waiting for you to start, and I was going to start over top of you.
No, I was going to say, you let me have a couple of them over the last couple of episodes. You lulled me into a sense of security, and then whammo, you got me.
I just like fast.
Well, there's a joke there somewhere, but I'm just going to move on. Okay. I gave this episode 2 gavels. And here we go. This is probably going to get me some flack, but a positive of the episode was the unique setting. A negative of the episode is the unique setting. Look, I give credit for the writers trying something new. And, I think that in 89, we were right in that cusp of, Miss Cleo and some other well-known high-profile psychics. So I think that they borrowed from that. So I give them credit for that. But I also, as I said at the beginning of the episodes, folks, I'm sorry, I just don't believe in that. I just don't. That's just my own personal opinion. So I thought that was kind of a positive and a negative. Negatives also, I felt like Marie was overacting. Ace was underacting. There was no blood trail. If you stabbed a dude to death, I'm sure that there was going to be some blood. So nonetheless, that's what I give it. I give it 2 gavels. I thought it was a subpar episode. Jason, what say you?
Man, negative grandfather over here. I'm not big in the psychic world either, but this is a fictional show, so it is what it is as far as that goes. I give this episode, 2.5, middle of the road. There's nothing super offensive about it, as far as nothing really to dislike, except for obviously I didn't like the intro. I really liked the guest stars. It wasn't much to solve as far as the case goes. They didn't really give you anything prior to the end to kind of follow up with that. And it's middle of the road. It is fine. And I'm absolutely found a new love of mine, and I want to reach out.
See, I thought the positive was that I didn't know who did the murder until the very end. So I like that as well. I know there's been a couple episodes where you have already halfway through figured out who did it. So, I mean, it was not a splendid episode. Just a FYI, the next episode is a 2-parter, ladies and gentlemen, if I recall correctly. So
this is another one that probably could have been a 2-parter.
Really? No.
Because I like to investigate along with the people on the show, but if they're not giving me anything to investigate with them, then I don't know. I like being able to figure it out. Like, I not always figuring it out. I don't need to always figure it out, but I like having breadcrumbs that lead to the final verdict, as opposed to it just happening at the end where this guy did this thing.
All right. Well, with that, Jason, let's talk about some of our other projects that we have going on. Tell us what's going on with 3 Geeks Podcast, man.
3 Geeks Podcast. We have an interview coming with Uji Banks. Burt Ward and friend who's been on the podcast before, Richard Burgeon. His horror film is finally coming out this month, and we talked to him a little bit about that. Three Geeks Podcast is live on Sundays, generally around 10 a.m., so you can catch us there or anywhere you find podcasts.
What about the website?
3geeks.ninja. I think it's down, but I need to fix it.
Why is it down?
I don't know. Somebody told me that the other day. I haven't looked.
Oh, okay.
I've been so busy. Life
I know what you mean.
So stupid.
I know what you mean. All right, well, let's talk about the PVD Cast. The PVD Cast is my own personal podcasting project. Episodes go up every Thursday. It's available at pvdcast.com or wherever you find great podcasts. In fact, this current episode that's up right now for this week, the week of November 14th, is one of those panel discussions we joked about from the Monroe Pop Fest. In fact, the last one where we're going to talk about independent comic book creators. It's a great episode. Definitely check it out. And we also have another project that we're hyping. We're trying to get people to like, and you know what? Lots of people have liked it. They haven't joined up, and that's A-okay because we don't want to pressure you. But if you know folks that love great behind-the-scenes stuff when it comes to acting and Hollywood and all that jazz, we have a project for you. Of course, it's patreon.com/Larry Hankin. We're doing a Larry Hankin stories. It is a like something you've never seen before. All right, it is like a lot of behind-the-scenes stories from Larry's past, his upbringing, his college life, a lot of cool stuff. So you definitely need to check it out. There's tiers for all different types of folks. If you have a couple bucks, you want to leave it at the tip jar. If you want to become a patron, you can do that too. Folks, look, we have the lowest tiers, $5. That's a Starbucks coffee. So you could join if you want to, if you like that type of stuff. Not pressuring you, right, Jason? We're not pressuring.
No pressure.
We're just stating fact. That is, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. But nonetheless, check it out. Patreon.com/Larry Hankin. All right, Jason, anything else to mention?
I don't think so, John.
All right. Then as they say in court, nothing further. The following has been a joint production between the Three Geeks Podcast and John Orlando Enterprises, LLC, copyright 2022.